Hi YouTubers, back again. 49 Chevy, vintage air, Surefit, air conditioner system for a 49 Chevrolet, actually 47355. Let's get her started here. So I pulled out I went through the checklist to make sure that they sent me all the items that I should get. I laid them all out. I always do this to make sure I'm not missing anything. Warning, Vintage Air did say that you got 15 days to basically say if you're missing something. If you miss something after that time frame, then they won't honor the claim. Kind of never tried that, but that's what their note says. So this system takes R134 alpha refrigerant only. Vintage Air system, you'll see 1.8 pounds of R134A. No additional oil is needed to the compressor. Remember, we've got the compressor already installed. By the way, if you like these videos, I'd truly appreciate you liking and sharing these. Subscribing to my channel too. Doing a lot of work on my 49, so I'd appreciate, just the kudos and the thumbs up. Any comments too would be great. Any good ones anyway. Anyway, so safety switches, we'll get into that. Service info, yep. Bolts passing through the cowling or the firewall. Put some silicone on them. And the heater hoses, they don't come with this kit, so you'll have to use the ones that you had on your truck already, or buy new ones, which I'll be buying new ones. I do not have them at the moment, but before the install is complete, I will. So, first of all, the core support, which is that guy right there, and there's the two ears. They give you the dimensions of these for either the Chevrolet or the GMC. The only difference is the bolts on the sides. On the Chevy, they're a little bit more spaced out than they are on the GMC. But as far as spacing between them, the two core supports, they're the same. I did measure mine, and they're on. So that is good news. So the top one is 23 and 13/16. The bottom is 21 and 5/8. Be sure to go off the bolt holes too. Initially I was going off the outside of the frame rail, and I was just like, whoa, that's way off. But if you go off the center of the bolts, you should be good. Turning the page. Let's see, before starting, check the function of the vehicle, turn off the battery. Okay, so I'm in the process, so I didn't have to drain the radiator. I don't have to disconnect the battery because I don't have one in there right now. The radiator is out. It's right there, so I don't have to drain the radiator. Remove the fan. I've already done that. Remove the radiator, done that. Remove the radiator petcock valve. That's done. Remove the upper radiator support. So that is this guy right here. Obviously, if it's installed and your guys are doing this and adding on to it when your truck is together, you'll have to remove this. You'll also have to disconnect your battery, drain the radiator, remove the fan, remove the radiator, remove the petcock valve, remove the upper radiator support, and the X support rods from the core support. So some core supports have this X rod. I didn't have that on mine when I took it out, but the originals would, and you may have those. If they're there, they need to be cut out, so you will not be using them. So we're through this. Turn it over, and now we're getting to condenser mounting bracket install. So before installing condenser, owners with 3/4 inch or 1 ton pickup trucks, make sure you let Vintage know that you have that when you're ordering. I don't know what is special about those, but it does mention that if you have a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton, you have to contact Vintage Air for additional information. So basically, right now we're going to install the supplied rubber bumper into the passenger side condenser bracket as shown in figure 2 here. And we're going to use the screws and the nuts with the star washers, which are over there, to secure the passenger and driver side condenser brackets to the condenser as shown in figure 2. Okay? So I'll get on it. Alright, so here we go. So here's your rubber grommet, or the bumper rather, supplied rubber bumper into the passenger side condenser bracket as shown. Just using the screwdriver to probably stab myself. Once you get it in, you can just twist it. It goes right in. Alright. So then we're using, be careful with the condenser when you're messing around with it. You don't want to dent the fins or anything. So I'm just putting this up here like the instructions. And the bumper is going to be on the other side, so basically these are going to go and line up with these holes. I have a screwdriver handy just to and then I'm not tightening them, I'm just kind of starting them. That way I can get those two top ones on as well. It looks like they're not going to line up like perfectly. You just hold it underneath and screw into the nut. Should be fairly easy. And for some reason this is just, it's not lining up, so I just kind of bend it a little bit. And I mean, didn't have to bend it a whole lot, honestly. I normally do not film me actually doing these things because just it takes time and you can skip through it, but I am today, so you actually get to see me in action, I guess. Okay, so that's the passenger side bracket. This is the driver's side bracket. And just for telltale, you got two holes up here, you got one hole on the bottom. So I'm putting the two on the top and the one on the bottom. Same concept. there is one nut that is supposed to be different thread for some reason. In this one I think it is, because it's not going on very much, and I don't want to cross thread it, so I'm going to take this one off, swap it out for one of the other ones. And it goes right on. This one lines up a little bit better, but again, I'm just going to tweak it a little bit, line it up. I'm not tightening anything down right now. Alright, so the rear view is that, just like the picture. So you see that the dryer mount is over on this side, the other mount's on that side. On to the next step. So per the instructions, to put the dryer on would be your next step. The instructions read, lubricate 2 06 O-rings, number 6 O-rings, which are the smaller ones of the 3 sizes, like the figure 4 below, and install into the condenser dryer hard line, which is this one. So basically it's going to go in like this. It's going to come into the dryer like so. You do this, you put this on first so that you can adjust the height of where the dryer is going to be. So I will use the lubricant that came with the kit. It says it's just mineral oil, but I will just put some on there like so. It says also to keep everything capped for as long as you possibly can, to not allow any debris or anything to get inside of the nitrogen. See, that was nitrogen that just came out. They said some of it is charged with nitrogen, and to be careful. So once you get that thing lubed up, it's just going to go right inside there, like so. And then this is going to be placed. And make sure that you do not strip your threads. It's very easy to strip threads on these lines because they're made of aluminum. So just take extra precaution when you're putting these things on. So I just found out when you're reading the instructions, you might want to just follow the instructions. I originally put the seal of the O-ring inside there, but it won't let you thread it on because it's got to be pushed onto this hose. So put it on the hose first and then screw it in. Alright, so I got that on. So when you install the dryer, it tells you the flow, okay? And the good thing, because I didn't want this to be sticking out where everybody could see there, but not that I'm proud of Vintage Air, they're a good company, but it'll give you the direction of the airflow, and per the instructions, the flow goes this way. So the dryer is going to go in such, this one screw, hook up to here, and then I will screw this down accordingly. Alright, so at this point, I got this, in this, you might have to bend this just a little bit, but be careful, you don't want to crimp it or anything. Make sure you put the O-rings in there. Past experience that my son had, Didn't put one in there, didn't charge, had to take it all apart, and anyway, so learn your lessons this way. Put the O-ring on the hose side first and thread it in. I just thread it in with my finger tight. I'm not tightening it all the way down as of yet until I get everything fitted. Alright, so that's installed. I went ahead and snugged this nut down because that's what it says to do. It says when you're snugging this down to make sure that the dryer is parallel with the condenser. So that's what I did. I just kind of eased it down, went ahead and secured it. Again, I just hand tightened these. The different O-rings have different torque specs. The number 6, which is the smaller O-rings, which is on these, the torque spec is 11 to 13 foot-pounds, excuse me, 11 to 13 foot-pounds on these nuts. So that's what I'll torque them to, and that takes care of page 8 of the instructions, the dryer installation. When you do put the dryer on, this is going to start falling now. It won't stand up by itself, so just be conscious of that so you don't damage anything. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten these guys down to, like I said, 11 to 13 foot-pounds. How do I know what it is? I don't. I'm just going off of my non-experience, I guess. Some people will hate about that, but that's just how I roll. So in the instructions, you know, it's nice that they do have two different sizes. This one is a 3/4 inch. This one is a 11/16. So what it tells you to do is hold one, spin this one, obviously the one that you are fitting in. And I'll be honest, 11 to 13 foot-pounds is not very tight at all. So just be conscious of that. You know, these are not by any stretch of means torqued down, you know, until you can't move them anymore. That's about, I feel pretty confident in that. And we'll move to the next step, which is mating up the radiator to the condenser to the engine, well, to the core frame, which, if you'll notice again, I've got standing by down here the core frame and the radiator. Alright, y'all, so this next step, radiator, condenser, core support. This is out of my truck, obviously. And to be very honest, it was a pain in the rear to get these top two started. And as you can see, I've only done the top two. But essentially, radiator, condenser, core support. When I got the truck, this core support was flipped around, so this lip was actually on this side. This is the correct way to install it. The lip should be facing out towards the grill. This should be facing in towards the engine. It only takes 4 bolts. They're 1/2 inch, and there should be nuts built into the core support already for you. I don't know why this one is actually the one that took me the longest. I almost lost my religion there, but anyway, I'm going to finish up these two. Tighten them all down. And so there it is. 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1/2 inch. Here's what the other side looks like. That's really nice. So now I will move to the next step. Alright, so we just got finished with the rear view of the radiator, rear view of the condenser, core support, and again, she's right there, which will go right in front of the engine there on the new radiator support, as you guys can remember. Alright, so for the next step, it's to lubricate number 6 O and 8 O-rings, as shown in 4, to connect. Basically, we're still connecting the dryer, so this is the other port that's coming off of the dryer. And then the condenser also has that other union that will have another line coming out this way and then going back into the engine bay. And as you can see on this, basically it's coming back into the engine bay to hook up to your compressor and also to your air unit. So also it shows you a binary switch here that can go on your dryer. There's other locations that you can put a binary switch. I'm actually not using a binary switch, even though mine comes with one, because that's part of the kit. But I'm using a trinary switch because I've got an electric fan that I'm running as well. So I will be installing that as we move along.